And here we are in Revit. Today we're going to be talking about phasing. I've got here a little one-story office building I've been working on. And go to the floor plan real quick. You can just see it's pretty cut and dry. And what we're going to be working on today is this area here. This kind of team collaboration area, break room, and there's a copier here. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be transforming this area into a conference room with a little kitchenette area to include this window. We're also going to have to temporarily remove this copier and bring it back. So I've already created some working views for my 3 current phases, as well as one view for all phases, just so I can see what that looks like. So I'm going to need to create a couple of additional phases here, because what I want to do is create a screen wall that's going to go across here and kind of make an L shape, and then because we're going to be demolishing this wall here, I want the new walls to come in before we demolish those, so that we can contain the dust to just the construction area. So this is the existing as it stands right now. Here you can see the demo view where we're taking out the equipment. Even the carpet in this area is demolished, but you can't really tell from this view. And then part of this wall is being demolished. Now in the new work phase, you can see we've put in some new office furniture, some new walls here, a little countertop, a new copier, and this glass screen wall here. Alright, so I'm going to need to create some additional phases before we get into demo. So I know I'm going to have to create some additional views here, so I'm going to rename these just to make management a little easier. And I'm going to have to create a total of 3 new phases, because I'm going to have to create another new work phase because of this glass wall after we remove the screen walls. So this will become 4, and it will become new work phase 1. This demo is now going to be phase 3. And what I'll do is I'll just start duplicating views and renaming them so that I have all the phases I need. So phase 2 will be this screen phase where we add in the new screen walls. We'll duplicate and rename. Phase 5 will be the screen demo phase. And then duplicate and rename. Phase 6 will be new work phase 2, and then 7 will be viewing all of them. So just creating the new view isn't enough. We need to actually go in and create phases. So we'll go up to the Manage tab and then over to Phasing. Now currently there are 3 phases: existing, demo, and new, which corresponded to my 3 views before. But now I need to add some new ones, so I'm going to insert after the existing. I'm going to call that screen. And I've got demo. I'm going to change this to new work 1. Add 2 more phases. That's going to be screen, demo, and new 2. Now what you call your phases doesn't really matter. How long in reality a certain phase is going to take doesn't matter. All that Revit cares about is that phase 3 comes after phase 2 and before phase 4. It doesn't care anything else about it. We also have what's called phase filters, and these basically show, when you're in a view, what's going to show up and what's not, in terms of, was it created before, was it created now, or is it being demolished now, or what's going on. There are 4 different categories to be filtered: new, existing, demolished, and temporary. These categories do not at all correspond to the project phases. They're only for the phase filters. And all they refer to is, in whatever phase you're in, doesn't matter. New work is new things that are created in that phase. Existing are things that were created in the previous phase but not demolished. Demolished are things that were created previously and demolished now. And temporary are things that are both created and demolished during the same phase. So these are the 7 uh, phase filters that come with Revit, and I'm good with how they're set right now. You'll see some of them. Let's look at show previous and new. So it's set so that any new work is set to overridden, which means it's going to follow these graphic overrides, which we'll talk about in a second, but it means it'll show up. The existing, again, anything that was previously made is going to show up. Demolished will not show up, but temporary will. So, looking at the graphic overrides, you see existing, demolished, new, and temporary. Although not the same order, it's the same 4 categories from our phase filters. And all this graphic overrides is telling the view how to display those items. Is it going to be a thin line that's grayed out? Is it going to be a thick line? Is it going to be dashed? Is it going to be hatched? Is it going to have a material? Is it going to be halftone? Etc. So, again, all these graphic overrides, all these graphic filters, I'm good with those. We have our 6 phases set up. Now, on to the next step, which we created these new views, but we didn't make sure that their phases were correct because we just created those phases. So we're going to start in phase 1 existing. Phase is set to existing. Perfect. Now we're going to show phase filter to show complete. Now that's only going to show existing and new work. And you can see how everything on here is that fine, thin black line that we set in our graphics override. We go to phase 2 screen, and you can see the phase is not set correctly. It's set to screen, and then we're going to set the phase filter to show previous and new. Now you can see immediately everything that was on existing now went to the gray lines to be scaled back. We're going to go ahead and create new walls. That will be our screening walls. And you can see how they're that nice fine black line. And we'll also create a door in here. There we go. So now our screens, our construction screen is created there. Under the demo phase, you can see we've already got the wall and all the equipment set to demo. And the phase is set correctly. And the phase filter is set to previous and demo. So we're showing the demo as well as anything that had previously been created. And under new work 1, we can see the new equipment's in, copier and everything like that. The problem is we're showing this glass wall here, which is currently in the same spot as the screen wall. And I actually want these 2 walls to show up in the screen phase. So I'll select those 2 walls, and under phase created, I'll change those to screen. Under phase demolished, I'll keep that to none. Now in this view, they'll turn gray, and if I go back to my screen view, you'll see that those walls show up. So that in the phasing of the project, the contractor will come in and build these walls and that door and these walls before demolishing anything. This will contain the construction debris and dust to a relatively contained area. So, back to new work 1, we still have this window here. And what we're going to do is we're going to move that to a different phase. So again, I'm going to come in here and select those pieces. I'm going to say phase created is going to be phase 2, which is after the screen demo. And they disappear from this view. Now verify this is view for new phase 1. Set to new phase 1. Set to show complete. Wonderful. Move on to the screen demo. First thing I need to do is make sure the phase is correct. So that's screen demo and show previous and demo. So you can see this view now currently matches what was in new 1, with the exception of the fact that the equipment here that was added in the previous phase is now much lighter. So what we need to do in this phase is tell Revit that we want to demolish this wall, and that door automatically is demolished because the wall is demolished. Alright, so now if I select this wall, you'll see that the phase created is the screen phase, and this phase demolished is screen demo, which is exactly what I want. So now when I go to phase 2, set its phase correctly to new work 2, and show complete. Now you'll see that glass wall is back where we want it. The screen wall is gone, but all the other new work is ready to go. And so we're ready to publish this with all of our phasing complete. I hope you've enjoyed this brief tutorial. I apologize for it running a little long. If you'd like to see additional information about my work history or to contact me, please visit my LinkedIn page shown here, or you can also visit my website at androseGlover.zenfolio.com. That's ANDROSEGLOVER.ZENFOLIO.com. Thank you and have a good day.